Gotta get some of that. Ready? All right. Meeting is called to order. Will please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and prayer by Supervisor Mastelier. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This evening is the first meeting that we're having in 2023. Let us all remember that the first rule of political life is an art of compromise and courtesy towards all. Let us keep these things in mind, keep an open mind in our deliberations to do what is best for our constituents and the county as a whole. We ask this, O Lord, amen.
All right, need a motion, roll call. Do we have the three that asked to be excused and beyond that? Right, yep, everybody else. Fabulous. All right, need a motion to approve the agenda. Supervisor Poppy, second by Supervisor Swaggle. As all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. It's a little more work for you to get motions in tonight. Usually it's whoever can push the button quickest on their pad. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes, previous county board minutes? Supervisor Lazansky, second by Supervisor Langto. Is there any discussion, corrections on those minutes? All right, seeing none. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Moving on to citizens input. Do we have any signed up? None. Does anyone wish to speak to the board? Does anyone wish to speak? Anyone wish to speak? All right. We will move on. Appointments. We have none. Annual reports and other reports. Mr. Felt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick reminder. One of my 2023 resolutions is to increase my outreach to county board supervisors. So if you get a phone call in the evening and you see my name attached to it, no, you are not in trouble. It's just I'm reaching out to see if anyone has questions or concerns. So you may get increased phone calls or emails from me. And again, it's just to help to increase communication between administration and the board. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. All right. No other reports. We'll move on to the committee reports. Highway Solid Waste Committee. We have any questions or comments on that? That committee for the is going to be meeting soon for the highway shop to February 1st. So we're continuing to look at the needs of the highway department just to make sure, we're not February 3rd, right? Yeah. So looking at the needs at this point and assessing. So I already had the newspaper calling me and asking me about it. We're not building anything, not yet. I don't know if we will even, okay? We're just talking about the needs and what they might be, and then we will consider what is the most efficient or most pragmatic solution for the citizens of this county. We're just beginning to look at that. All right, Executive Committee. Any questions? All right, Public Health and Veterans Committee. Any questions? I see Cindy's here. Everything is RSV and COVID numbers not going down, sort of. Okay, RSV at least. That seems like it's a little. Yeah, COVID though, how severe have everybody that I have known, I've known lots of people, it seems, that have it or have had it, and the symptoms seem to be reasonably mild. Oh. Oh, interesting. And is the vaccine, are they Is this like flu shots? Are they getting this more specific? But is the vaccine, is that being adapted, changed like the flu vaccine so that it is more targeted, so that it will do a better job? Okay. So if people get if they've been vaccinated and they get a booster right now, it will have, is it more targeted? It will have benefits, more benefits? Okay. 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 Very good. Thank you. UW Extension. All right. Land and Water. Where's Land and Water? Okay, Aaron's not here. He called me shortly before. He had something happen at the farm, I guess, talking about Land and Water. Well, Supervisor Gillett's here. Looks like you guys have had lots going on from what I can see. How is all that?
I'm actually going to defer to probably Supervisor Kinner because I was not able to make the last meeting. I was at a conference.
Thank you, Nick. We did have a meeting on Wednesday at the Expo Hall in Luxembourg at the fairgrounds. And we had a nighttime land and water meeting for the first time. So folks had a chance to come to it, the people that are working during the day. So I counted, I thought 28 people, 30 people that were there. Meeting went well, some concerns about some things, some questions, fair amount of public input. Following the 1 hour meeting, we went right into the water results from the well testing. So I think a fair amount of people were there for that also.
Okay. And
So
the problems in Casco are in the new, am I understanding that correctly?
there's a section in the new subdivision behind the village kitchen. Some of the houses are still showing very, very high nitrates, 20s, 30s, and some 40s, so very high. Traveling across the road a little bit to that other new subdivision right across from the Bank of Luxembourg in the village kitchen, but not everybody. So the rest of the village was pretty good, just sort of that side. So Land and Water has been watching. I'm sure our next meeting, we're going to discuss some options of maybe what to do or how to handle it. So Davina's been working with that. She's been doing a great job with it. So
How deep are those wells in the new section?
about 160 feet, most of the new wells are, and they're cased, I think, to 40 or 60 feet. So and it's mostly the brand new houses that were just put there that are struggling a little bit. So.
Interesting. All right, thank you. All right, Public Safety and Justice Committee. Supervisor Mastelier.
Yes. Tracy asked me to share this this evening. Emergency Management applied for a household hazardous materials emergency preparedness grant that has no county match required to it. The grant was made available and it's a hazmat refresher course to our first responders. Again, no cost to any of those to who register and attend. So the dates of the course, believe it or not, there's the first one is tomorrow, and there's another one on February 15th. If you have questions, get hold of Tracy and she'll be glad to take care of you.
Thank you. All right, Finance and Public Property. Any questions? Human Services Committee, Supervisor, not Lazansky,
No,
Haskey,
Haskey.
sorry.
ask you, that's okay.
I'm on the wrong side of the room.
Okay, I want to make some comments about Human Services since I'm chairman of it. This year has been a lot of changes to Human Services, a lot of people in new roles. Melissa Anoy transitioned into the director role. Corinne Conkle transitioned into the Family and Community Manager role. Chad Lullazern transferred into the Children's and Family Management role. Zach Weary moved into social worker and children waiver into Chad's vacant child protection role. The children's waiver position is currently posted. the transition is going well and Human Services collaborating well to make the transition go good. And I think it's a wonderful thing that we're promoting from within, and people know the program so well, and it makes so much sense to utilize our people before we go outward. So I'm very, very happy how it goes. And I also want to mention that there are 2 people that are leaving the agency. Maureen O'Shea served the agency for 12 years as case manager for the elderly and adults with disabilities, and most recently as a therapist. And Rhonda Rummel, who worked for the county for 26 years, the bulk of her time it was in youth justice. So we want to say thank you for all their time too. We really appreciate it. And I've been on the Human Service Board for some time, and I can only say it keeps getting better and better. I think the group that we have there is doing a fabulous job, and we should be proud of all of them. That's
Very
my
good.
comments.
Very good. Thank you. All right. Parks, Promo and Maintenance Committee. How are things on the hill, Supervisor Yankee?
Well, Dave couldn't make it here tonight, but he gave me some notes. Corp Council did send an agreement to Gary Miller to Winter Park Association last Friday. And I guess no one has come back to Corp Council to talk about it. Mother Nature's made to work hard this year, and are looking forward to colder weather. As far as the numbers go, the Tube Hill days that it was open to the public was 7, and there were 8 private Tube Hill rentals. Tubing attendance about 3,400. Gross ticket sales about 32,000. Concession sales about $2,000, and there's no cost figured into those numbers yet. So otherwise it's going pretty good considering.
All right, very good. So still working on, sounds like Mr. Depot is working things out and moving forward. Okay. Well, sounds like we're at least in a better place and a better tone. So that's a very good, that's a lot of progress right there. All right, fabulous. And maybe we'll get more snow later this week for them. All right, Business Development Loan Fund Committee. Any questions? We did have, there was a meeting. Mr. Felt, did you?
Yeah,
care to
there'll be an
comment?
upcoming meeting, but nothing right now. So.
All right, very good. Broadband Study Committee. I guess there's, that's all just kind of going forward. I do continue to occasionally get calls from citizens concerned in one way or another about the fiber going in. Oddly enough, when you bring in heavy equipment and tear up people's lawns, it upsets people. And, of course, that's just all part of it. And, most people have been understanding, and I have to say that Melody Schutz from Bug Tussle, what is her official title, Mr. Felt?
She is kind of the customer outreach or the outreach manager. And all of you, I sent out a copy of the December report earlier this afternoon. So you should all have that. If there's any questions, please feel free to contact me.
Yeah, community affairs or whatever she is. So I've been able to get, over the time that they've been working here, I've been able to get several people connected to her. And in every, I have to say, in every instance so far where that has taken place, I've not had to have any of them, none of them have followed up with me again. So that's pretty good. So that she seems to be able to get their issues resolved. And sometimes some things are simpler than others. Sometimes a citizen doesn't like having a backhoe parked in their area for an extended length of time. I get that. So maybe we move it to the neighbors for a day or two and then something. But I'm not sure exactly how she resolves it, but she has been in every instance, and there have been several, quite a number where I have referred citizens to her and they have not had to come back to me. So I continue to be encouraged by that because that's probably something that's going to go on forever. or at least for a very long time, as we continue to work towards getting the fiber installed. Jail Strategy Committee. Any questions on that or comments, Supervisor Poppy? I guess it's, we're going to have him. Yes. Yeah, at the February board meeting, the gentleman, what is his name, Mr. Felt?
Kurt Berner from
there we go.
Samuel's Associates. He's the county's construction manager.
Yeah, so he's going to be doing a presentation at the February meeting is the plan. So
Correct.
we'll have more for you there. All right.
And I'm sorry,
Mhm,
and I
go
also
ahead.
believe, well, and I did send minutes out to the jail group from, usually the county has what I'd call more of a working group, which is sheriff staff and administration meeting with the architects about design. So I just sent that information out the last meeting minutes. If supervisors would like a copy of that, just let me know and I can send that out to you as well.
Very good. Okay. Going on to first reading of ordinances, we have none. I skipped past recess. I don't think we'll need one. Consideration of resolutions, we have none. Consideration of ordinance read at previous county board meeting, we have none. Resolutions from other counties.
From Winnebago County, requesting the state of Wisconsin to review and revise its policy on foreign ownership of farmland by entities party to adversarial governments. And then from Trumpelo and Winnebago, increase the pay rate of assistant district attorneys. From Green, Washera, Juneau, Columbia, Langlade, Monroe, Dorr, and Lafayette, resolution to request the state to revise the current real estate transfer fees revenue sharing formula.
All right. We'll move on to Kewaunee County events. Do we have any? Quiet month coming up, huh? All right. Chair comments. The only comment I have, as I said to some of you prior to the meeting, obviously we had no resolutions this evening. Typically this board has been a really hardworking group that's had a lot of business before it over the course of the term, and I expect that to pick up again next month. So I did debate to some degree whether to hold this meeting this evening or not, without any actual resolutions to consider, but I went ahead because, if I don't, there are then, you run the risk of negative comments from citizens that the board is not meeting and making itself available to be heard by the public. Of course, as I was thinking that, then we didn't have any comments from the public tonight, but if I hadn't, well, it's one of those deals. So I felt it would be good for us to meet nonetheless, make sure the public would have the opportunity if they chose to speak, and also give greater opportunity to go through reports more thoroughly as we normally go through them quickly. The only other comment I would have is usually I don't comment on too many of the things that, the regular duties of the chair. I did have a NWTC, the board appointment committee. If you're probably not overly familiar with it, but the chairs of the various county boards, they are the ones that elect the, board members for NWTC. And that is a fairly involved setup as to how that takes place. So the it's county chair meeting, and the reason that I bring this up, I have these take place, and these are meetings I normally attend. The reason that I bring this up is that there was discussion on review of the current distribution of the NWTC Board of Trustees, since we elect those, and alternative options to the distribution and representation. Essentially, the Brown County Chair was requesting a change in how that representation takes place. It's an extremely long meeting. But to summarize essentially, I guess essentially, if I were to sum it up, I couldn't understand why any of the rural counties would agree to any of the proposed changes. It would eliminate or certainly greatly change our representation. So eventually a motion was made to keep the current process, which I believe which protects the interest and representation of the rural counties, and that motion did succeed, that there will not be any change. So that's just kind of one of those things I thought was of interest, since it would have been a fairly significant change had there been any adjustments, but there was not. And I get where students come from and all of that kind of thing, where, percentages and so forth, but nonetheless, the system we have does maintain a representation by the rural counties. So, and if you're ever interested in any more on that, it was extremely long meeting, but in fact, I was thinking to myself, my goodness, I could have got a whole budget meeting done in this time. But anyway, if you're interested in more details, I'd be happy to share those with you. So we move on to the next meeting dates, February 14th and March 21 are scheduled. So we would be looking at April 18th, and Supervisor Yonke has already expressed a concern with that. And your concern was, Supervisor Yonke, that it was a town?
Yeah, by Wisconsin state statutes, the annual meeting has to be the third Tuesday of April, unless you change it the year before at the meeting.
Sounds like that Montpelier
didn't happen.
Township has got to
Again.
remember that, huh?
Oh, we tried last time.
We tried, okay, and they just wouldn't do it for you?
People like to have that date in their head.
Yeah,
Yeah, third Tuesday of April,
yeah.
because there's refreshments after.
Hard to change that, right? Is there what dates, is there conflicts with other Tuesdays that we know of? On the 4th is an election. You can't do the 18th. That would make it possible to do, if there are no objections, April 11th. April 11th. We have a motion for April 11th. Who made the second? Supervisor Mastelier. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Well, that worked out pretty good for you. And the next meeting is 5 o'clock because Supervisor Romden had a Valentine date he needed to get on, right? Oh, okay. All right. Motion to adjourn. Supervisor Vollenweider, second. Supervisor Langto, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Opposed?